No one sold just a simple, hey, take your power steering pump off, bolt this on, and put your belt back on and drive down the road. I want to completely eliminate the power steering pump, lines. I even want to cut off as much of the mounting bracket as I can. I looked at the bracket carefully, and if you will look at your power steering / AC truck accessory bracket, you're going to have all this webbing and support. Everything below this webbing you don't need, so that's where I sectioned and cut it off and ground everything, you know, relatively smooth to get rid of everything from here down. If you put your power steering delete pulley here, the belts pinch each other in this area. Like, you cannot have these belts touching each other. Looking, well, why couldn't you just move the power steering delete pulley over here? Here's my parts list. You have to have an M10 1.50 thread, 160 millimeter length. This is the Allen head bolt because it was the easiest for me to get in stock at my local Fastenal. So it's got the 8 millimeter hex head, 160 millimeter length. This is an extra pulley from a tensioner. Inside here, because you have to adapt the internal diameter, inside diameter of this pulley down to a 10 millimeter bolt. So let's say you get a tensioner pulley, which would be generally on my 2000 Tahoe engine, is a 90027A. is your tensioner pulley. Inside of there is a small adapter that adapts it from, I think, 17.5 millimeter down to a 10 millimeter size. That part is a Daco K as in kitten, T as in Tom, 0003. Okay, Daco KT0003. That's going to adapt you down so that your pulley can be mounted with that 10 millimeter bolt to the head. Make sure you get full 3/4 inch engagement to this head because this thing's going to have some tension on it. So you got your pulley, your 160 millimeter length bolt, you got your adapter. Now behind here, I ended up with 1 inch 340 thousandths of spacer. Okay, I wanted to move the camera over so I could give you a better visual representation of what I'm talking about. So you got your tensioner pulley, adapter, 160 millimeter bolt. It goes through, and behind here I have a solid steel spacer. It's called a heavy duty steel bushing. It has a 3/8 hole in the middle, 3/4 inch diameter, and it's 1 inch long. Okay, so basically I had no idea how long of a spacer I was going to need to properly line up to the pulleys, because I wanted to make sure it was absolutely 100% legit before I went anywhere. I wanted this thing to be right. Basically, the best way, shout out to Jimmy Wade, good friend of mine, he said the best way he's seen to try to line up a pulley is to use a straight edge, which I was using a level, aluminum level. So basically what you'll do is you will play with, what I used was that 1 inch spacer. Then I used just 5/16 grade 8 washers and use them, because even out of the same bin, if you will use a caliper and measure those washers, they all vary slightly. So I just basically played with my washers to where I ended up with my 1 inch spacer, I think I have 2 washers in the back, 2 washers in the front. Everything has a perfect engagement to the bearing in the center of your pulley. Here's where this is so simple, I just can't believe I've never thought of it. You just hold this straight edge flat up against this pulley on the alternator. Watch this. It's literally perfect. Like, it literally just barely touches that outside edge. That's how perfect I got that pulley to line up. Now, mine lined up with 1 inch 340 thousandths shim, but I suggest highly that you check your specific application just in case there's variances in these plastic pulleys. You know, if you have any variance in how thick this lip is, where the bearing's pushed in, there could be a lot of different things that could throw off your spacer. So make sure you check your alignment between your other pulleys to make sure you're 100% where you want to be. During this whole process of finalizing where I wanted to mount the power steering delete pulley, I realized that my actual tensioner pulley was junk. It's very rough. If you take this off, matter of fact, if you take that off and roll it on your fingers, you will hear or feel the roughness that's going on in this, inside this bearing. I bet this is part of the problem I was having with noise when the engine was running. I kept thinking that bearings on my alternator, I had it tested and swapped out because I thought the alternator, brand new alternator, was going bad. But I'll bet you part of that noise was this bad tensioner pulley. But went and grabbed a new one of those, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's see if we can get this thing swapped out. I'm so picky about how everything is on my setup. I just can't stand having something that makes weird noise. Let me get this tight enough with this engine not rolling away. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to do a little time lapse of putting this belt on. Alright guys, I want to share the final parts list. We talked about using the 160 millimeter, and I do mean 160 millimeter long bolt, preferably in a 10.9 or 12.9 strongest you can buy bolt, so that you know it'll hold up to the stress. That's going to be an M10 1.50 thread, 160 millimeter. Now you can use the Allen head like I did, or regular, you know, hex nut head, doesn't really matter. But you're going to have to get one of the tensioner pulleys. I just happened to get this one, probably a Dayco brand, because that's what Advanced sells. That 90027A. Then of course I had to have this KT 0003 adapter bushing to put this on that 10 millimeter bolt. Then this, I got this at my local like Tractor Supply. That's that Hillman brand heavy steel bushing, zinc plated or coated, 3/8 hole in the middle, 3/4 outside diameter, 1 inch thick. Sorry about that. Probably help if I had it in the middle of the screen. But it's cheap. It don't cost too much, like $6, $6.50 or something. Finally figured out the stupid belt size to make it work and be in the right range on the tensioner. So I end up with an 82.5 inch belt. And what I did, and I'll show you here in a minute, when you look at your tensioner, it has some lines on it that kind of show you where you should be when you put your new belt on. And then it'll also show you, you know, when it starts getting too stretched, when you need to change it. But this 5060 825, that's the belt that ended up working perfect for what I wanted to do. And I'm going to turn the camera around here in just a second and show you what I'm talking about. Okay guys, here is the lines I was talking about on your tensioner assembly. Basically, I highlighted mine with yellow paint pen, for it's easier for you guys to see on the video, and it's easier for an old guy like me to keep track of. So basically, you have a line here, here, and here. Then on your actual tensioner that moves, you have a raised line here. So when you replace your belt, you want to be fairly close to this center indicator. Now as the belt gets worn, this is going to start moving away. It's going to start losing some of the tension. It's going to start coming this direction. And if you get to this line, they recommend that you change your belt, even if it's not cracked or, you know, broken or deteriorated, missing ribs, whatever, just because it's losing a lot of tension and could fail, you know. So it's kind of like your, hey, if it stretches this far, go ahead and get a new belt. What you'll notice is the belt I chose has my line slightly tighter than the middle indicator on the assembly. The reason I do that is this belt hasn't been heat cycled yet, because I guarantee once this thing goes through a heat cycle, this little indicator is going to move to the looser, you know what I mean? It's going to loosen up. Matter of fact, I probably could have gone probably a ½ inch shorter. I probably could have went to the 82 inch instead of the 82 and a half and been closer to this indicator. But you know, there's a big price difference for some reason at my Advance between the 82 and the 82 and a half inch. This gets me tighter than what what they shoot for. And once I heat cycle it, it should be pretty much dead on where I want to be. So there's just a little tip on how you can look at these tensioners and get an idea on your belt tension, your wear, and when to kind of change out those belts if they start getting too stretched. So let me back up and show you the final product. Right, there we are. There she is in all her glory. Basically what you have, and I'm going to pan out just a hair here so you can kind of see a little bit more of what's going on. I like to kind of get the, you know what I mean, the crank pulley isn't the magic, so I want to kind of come up off the crank pulley a little bit. So basically you're going to move and install your power steering delete pulley in that outer lower mounting hole for your bracket to your cylinder head, and then you basically follow the factory belt routing for how you put the belt on the engine, and that way you get full wrap and contact. You're getting 3/4 of the diameter of your water pump contact to your belt, so you don't have to worry about overheating issues. Everything clears easily. The mounting bolts for your alternator, there's plenty of clearance between your idler pulley and your water pump, and everything's properly tensioned. So there is my power steering delete setup. I can't wait to get all this transferred over to the engine in the car. I'm actually right in the middle of pulling the heads off of it right now to start that process and start the cam swap. So I just wanted to do a better video describing the power steering delete setup. So if you guys want to build your own, here's the blueprint. I would be tempted to build these and sell them to people once I can verify that there's no longevity or performance issues running it in my own vehicle as a test bed. So anyway, there's my power steering delete. As always, thanks guys for watching these videos. Hopefully you guys will like, subscribe, and share, and show other people what we're able to create. Thank you.